Daf Yomi Tractate, Bava Batra, page 50a. Top of the page with the words V'achas Sheyeche La Biksu Vasa. Biksu Vasa, yeah. And one that he specified to her as payment for her marriage contract, even though it was not stipulated explicitly in the contract. And in a case where she brought into the marriage an appraisal of a field from her own property that she owned prior to the marriage, which took on the status of guaranteed property, meaning that she will receive it if her husband dies or divorces her. If a field of one of these three types of is sold with her approval, she can claim that she did not truly consent to this sale, but stated her consent only in order to please her husband. The Gemara clarifies to exclude what type of property did Rabbah specify these three types of fields. If we say that he intends to exclude the rest of the husband's property secured to pay her marriage contract, it is all the more so the case that he will bear her enmity if she does not agree to the sale. As he will say to her, "You have placed your eyes on divorce, or on my death." In other words, you will not allow me to sell my property because you are expecting and planning for my death or our divorce. Therefore, she should be able to claim that she consented to the sale only in order to please her husband with regard to other property as well. Rather, these three types of fields were specified in order to exclude usufruct property, that is, property that belongs to the wife and remains in her possession while the husband has the right to enjoy the profits, in which case, if the wife consents to the sale, it is valid. The Gemara asks, but doesn't the Meimar say that if there was a man or a woman, in other words, a husband or a wife, who sold the wife's usufruct property, they did not accomplish anything, as the sale does not take effect? The Gemara answers, when the statement of a Meimar was stated, it was to say that neither the husband nor the wife can sell the property unilaterally. Where he sold the property and then died, she can come and remove it from the buyer. Alternatively, in a case where she sold it and then died, he can overcome and remove it. Due to a rabbinic ordinance, and in accordance with the statement of Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, as Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina says, when the Sanhedrin convened in Usha, they instituted that in the case of a woman who sold her usufruct property in her husband's lifetime and then died, the husband repossesses it from the buyers. But where the two of them sold it to someone, or if she sold it to her husband, the sale is valid. The inference that the Gemara drew from the Mishnah that if the husband produces evidence that the wife sold usufruct property to him, then he is regarded as the owner, is relevant when she sells her usufruct property to him. And if you wish, say instead that a Meimar said his statement in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Elazar, who holds that one can sell property if he possesses the item itself and also has the right to enjoy its profits. This is as it is taught in a Batra in the case of one who sells his Canaanite slave to another and contracted with him that the sale is on the condition that the slave will serve the seller for 30 days before he is transferred to the buyer. The outcome of this sale is that during those 30 days, the first master enjoys the use of the slave, and the buyer is the owner of the slave himself. As detailed in the Torah. Exodus 21:18-21. If one strikes another, and the injury leads directly to the victim's death, the one who struck him is subject to court-imposed capital punishment. But if a master strikes his Canaanite slave, and the slave lingers with his injuries for more than a day or 2 days, and then dies, the master is exempt from court-imposed capital punishment. The Batra addresses who is considered the owner of the slave with regard to this halacha. The Batra states 4 opinions. Rabbi Meir says that during those 30 days, only the first master is included in the halacha of a day or 2 days. Exodus 21:21. Rabbi Meir holds that in this case, the first master is included in this exemption because the slave is under his authority as he enjoys the use of the slave, but the second master is not included in the halakha of a day or 2 days because the slave is not under his authority. Okay. Rabbi Meir's reasoning is that he holds that ownership of the rights to use an item and the profits it engenders is like the ownership of the item itself. The status of the first master as the owner negates the possibility that the second master would be regarded as the owner with regard to this halakha. He would not be included in the exemption. The Batra continues. Rabbi Yehuda says that the second master is included in the halakha of a day or 2 days because slave is his money. Exodus 1:21. His property, but the first master is not included in the halakha of a day or 2 days because the slave is not his money. Rabbi Yehuda's reasoning is that he holds that ownership of the rights to use an item and the profit it engenders is not like the ownership of the item itself. Therefore, the master who currently enjoys the use of a slave does not have the status of an owner with regard to this halacha. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says,